Chapter 4. By the end of this chapter, students will be able to
understand the impact of marijuana on the brain, analyze how external factors influence behavior, and recognize and compare safe behaviors to risky ones. Before we get into today's material and topic, ask students to take a few minutes to think or write down what are your perceptions of marijuana. Since the recent legalization of marijuana in the state of Massachusetts, perceptions and beliefs on the topic are ever changing as we continue to see its impact. Through surveys given to local youth, here is a list of some of the most common misconceptions among middle and high school age students. Many people use the words cannabis and marijuana interchangeably. However, cannabis refers to all products derived from the cannabis plant, while marijuana refers to the products that contain significant amounts of THC. There are many different chemicals that are in cannabis products. The two main ones people hear about are THC and CBD. THC, or tetrahydrocannabinol, is a psychoactive substance in marijuana that creates the feelings of euphoria and being high. CBD, or cannabidiol, is the non-psychoactive ingredient in marijuana that works with THC to decrease psychoactive effects. You might hear about marijuana concentrates, which are products that are highly potent THC concentrates. These contain higher amounts of THC than flower products. It is important to note that THC levels vary completely from product to product. If you're buying from a dispensary, the levels of THC are different from those you can get off the street, and they are way more transparent and accurate. What many adults who use marijuana today don't always understand or know is that the potency of THC has changed significantly since they were young. Prior to the 1990s, the average THC content was less than 4%, while today it's about 15%, with dabs and oils being about 40 to 90%. People commonly use marijuana products in three types of ways: smoking joints, blunts, bongs, hookahs, and dab rings, vaping devices like oil devices, wax pens, and dab pens, and lastly, ingesting orally by using oils, tinctures, or herbal extracts, edibles which can take up to 2 hours to take effect, or beverages. Use of marijuana can be medicinal, meaning it's prescribed by a medical professional to relieve physical or mental symptoms, or recreational, meaning the use of it is not prescribed by a medical professional. On this page, there are some examples of the different ways marijuana can be used. Vape pens, dab pens, and wax pens are all methods that individuals use to vape marijuana. When a person vapes marijuana, the intensity of the high can be intensified due to easy access and the concentration of the product being stronger versus smoking flower or consuming edibles.
Because marijuana is legalized and more people are using the products, many people see it as completely harmless. However, early marijuana use can negatively impact the developing brain and create long-lasting damage. Frequent marijuana use during adolescence has been linked to increased feelings of anxiety, depression, and the onset of predisposed schizophrenia and temporary psychosis. So what happens when you get high? The use of marijuana can range from experimental to dependence, with frequent and prolonged use, exacerbating mental and physical health complications. Here are a list for both the potential short-term effects and the long-term effects. While marijuana is thought of as just a plant, it is a psychoactive substance that people can become dependent on. A dependence on marijuana can look like an inability to complete daily activities without marijuana, such as eating or sleeping. Mental health and marijuana. A marijuana use disorder may be diagnosed if an individual continues to use despite negative health and social problems in their life. Approximately 3 out of 10 people who use marijuana have marijuana use disorder. After 30 days of not using marijuana, a person can experience improvements in attention, executive functions, and mood. Greening out is also described as an overdose on marijuana. A person may become sick when too much marijuana or THC-infused products have been consumed. This experience is usually THC dose-related, happening more often to people who aren't used to marijuana or are using much larger amounts than usual. If a person is vomiting while sedated, it is crucial to put them on their side in the recovery position to reduce the risk of aspiration or choking. Call 911 if a person is significantly distressed, faints, or has an abnormal level of consciousness. Synthetic cannabinoids are human-made, mind-altering chemicals that are sprayed on dried, shredded plant material that appears to be marijuana. These products are also known as K2 or spice. Synthetic cannabinoids are misleading and marketed as safe and legal alternatives to marijuana. However, they are not safe and may affect the brain more than marijuana. The chemical makeup of fake weed is more similar to the drug called bath salts than it actually is to cannabis. Synthetic cannabinoids work on the same brain cell receptors as THC, the mind-altering ingredient in marijuana. Synthetic cannabinoid users report effects similar to those produced by marijuana. Listed are the potential symptoms associated with use. Addiction and overdose are possible with both substances. Harm reduction practices with marijuana. While we do urge youth to delay the first use of substances as much as possible, we do understand that youth are curious, and so we have created a list of ways to reduce the potentially harmful effects of marijuana. Here is an exit ticket to serve as a knowledge check for students. After completing the 4 questions, review the correct answers with students on the next slide. 1. How old do you have to be to purchase, consume, and grow marijuana? 2. Is it legal to travel with marijuana on your person? 3. True or false? My employer cannot drug test me for marijuana. 4. Driving under the influence of marijuana is illegal.